So on the menu today are spring Jersey Royals. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to prepare this bag of delicious potatoes. So they're going to go up in difficulty. So number 1, easy. We're going to make a beautiful potato salad with a homemade mustard mayonnaise. Potato number 2 is a crispy, smashed, pan roasted potato with a rosemary, anchovy and confit garlic butter. Potato number 3 is a grilled and smoked potato on ricotta with a parsley oil salmorejo. This is the beginners, this is the intermediates, and then this one is a little more challenging, a little more chefy, not super hard, but the hardest. Let's get into it. So we've been to Waitrose and we bought probably one of my favorite spring vegetables of all time, the Jersey Royal. So these potatoes are incredibly sweet and nutty and earthy, and they have a real character in this kind of papery skin, which kind of sets them apart from other baby potatoes. They're a little bit waxy, they're incredibly delicious and really easy to cook. Right, so Jersey Royals. So we're going to fill this pot up, and now this is where I think Jersey Royal cookery deviates slightly from when you're cooking like a Maris Piper or you're making mashed potato or roast potatoes. I want these to cook incredibly slowly. I want these to be in a pot of water that's barely bubbling away, and also for the water to have real flavour. You're basically making, imagine you're making like potato tea. We're going to use some hard herbs. I've got some rosemary, which is straight in, and then what Jersey Royals really love is mint. So we're going to do about half of this mint. This is 100 grams, stalks and all. A handful of fresh bay leaves here. This is about 2 kilos of Jersey Royals. I'm going to go for 2 and a bit big spoonfuls of salt. These, they always say that if things grow underground, you start them in cold water. If they grow overground, you should cook them in boiling water. So we've got salt, herbs, potatoes, and nice cold water. Now, the aim of the game here is to cook this very, very slowly. Right, pop onto the stove. Pop a lid on. I'm going to bring this up to a very, very, very light simmer. So potatoes are warming up nicely. So if you come and look at this, you can see the herbs are starting to wilt. Steam's coming off the pot, but it's not raging boil. But if I look inside, I can see lots of little bubbles just slowly rising to the surface. I don't want to go really much hotter than this. So I've turned my water right down. These are going to take about half an hour, 35 minutes, plus a nice rest in the water. Slowly is the game with this kind of potato. For our first recipe, the easy recipe, we're gonna make a lovely potato salad with a really simple homemade mayonnaise. Now, this is probably my favorite way to make mayonnaise at home, and it requires one special bit of equipment, a tall pot. Then you can pop an immersion blender into like this. So, simple mayonnaise recipe, egg yolks, mustard. We're going to use 2 types of mustard. I've got, these are essential to any pantry. Dijon and grain mustard. So this is going to be a more mustardy mayonnaise than usual, but I quite like that for a potato salad. But job number 1 is separating eggs. So I've got these lovely long stock golds here, amazing coloured yolks. So we can just crack these, nice clean hands, straight into the bottom. So we're going to do equal parts grain and Dijon. We'll do a nice big spoon of grain. Grain and Dijon have very different flavour profiles. If grain is like more of a sweeter, more rounded mustard, Dijon is a bit more in your nose and it's got a bit more punch. So it makes a really nice contrast and balance in the mayonnaise. We also need some acid, so we're going to use some fresh lemon juice. So when you're making emulsions, a mayonnaise is an emulsion, you want to get an approximation of your seasoning in from the very beginning. Salt is water soluble, so it will kind of melt away into all of these things, but it won't melt into oil. So get your salt in now, melt it into these, and then this will be evenly distributed throughout the oil. This will make sense in about 10 seconds. So a nice approximation of seasoning. You'll probably have to add a bit more at the end, but just get a bit in now. We're going to leave the pepper because our Dijon's giving us quite a lot of heat. And now, I'm just going to measure in 50% neutral oil and 50% olive oil. I like to use a blend because if you were to do, this is a lovely extra virgin olive oil, if you were to do 100% this, it'd become very bitter. So we're gonna do about 200 grams of each. So this is really the backbone of the recipe. Takes 15 seconds, tastes spectacular. Making your own mayonnaise, delicious and easy and smart. My favorite thing about potato salad is to make it very, very savory. I'm gonna lean into 2 flavor profiles just to kind of boost and bolster that sweet, nutty, earthy profile from the Jersey Royal. We're just gonna do mustard, which we've already completed, and allium on oniony flavor. So I've basically got 2 different types of fresh, delicious, soft spring onion. We've got some chives and spring onions. So just gonna cut these nice and fine, and that will be that for the potato salad. Right, potatoes are cooked. So the best way to check these, they will let you know when they're done because you can just squeeze them and they just start to give a little bit. And if you've got like a skewer, and you can feel that it's the same texture all the way through. And then if you hold it, it will slide straight off. Now, nice tip from the top is to let these cool down in the water, okay? So I've turned the heat off now. Let these cool down slowly, 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 and then they will be perfect. I mean, don't they just look beautiful? Sometimes people say, Ben, why are you getting so excited about a steamed potato? Well, if you could smell what I can smell, you'd be excited too. So I'm just taking some of the potatoes out, and I can just smell the steam coming off them and the steam from the pot. You can really smell the herbs. Mint, rosemary, bay is flying out that pot. It gets me every time because it's incredible. They're so delicious. Oh my goodness. And they're cooked perfectly. Gorgeous little waxy guys that pick up the flavor of the herbs. The water is like tea and it infuses into the potato and it just makes a world of difference. So if you can, cook these with herbs. So the final step for our first recipe is to bring everything together. So we've got our nice kind of just warm potatoes now, and I'm just gonna break these into kind of nice, I like when a potato salad has like a nice organic shape like that. That way, all of that lovely mustardy mayonnaise is gonna kind of cling to them. As is always the case with this kind of thing, you can always add more, but you can't get it back. So just go steady. I'm gonna go with 1, 2 spoons of that. And then I'm gonna go with, say, 2/3 of these. I think I'm probably gonna use all of them, but start with that. And then I'm gonna go with all of the chives, because I love chives. And now just kind of stir it together. Gorgeous. I reckon I'll call that done. Stick it on a plate. I think sometimes people really overcomplicate things like potato salad and there's like a billion ingredients in there. A nice homemade mayonnaise, good herbs and really beautiful cooked Jersey rolls is all you need. Trust me. Absolutely delightful. Right, next recipe. So for recipe number 2, we're going to transform our little potatoes into smashed, pan-fried, crispy potatoes with an amazing anchovy, confit garlic, kind of umami butter. So job number 1, confit garlic. We're gonna confit this whole bulb. Just give them a little squash and that will loosen the skin. Then you can just take off the root and then, because you squashed them, come straight off. And then some nice olive oil. So just enough to cover. And then you can either do this in the oven, we're gonna just do it on the stove. A good tip for confit. If you add a splash of water, just that much, this is like a little temperature probe. As soon as that water starts to boil, you know that your oil is at 100 degrees. And then as soon as it starts to boil, turn the pan down. You want your oil to hover between 90 and 100. So the water is just like a little thermometer for you, basically. And then you just let that tick over until the garlic is mega soft and it's gonna go this kind of golden, beautiful golden color. Should take about 30, 40 minutes. Okay, we're back. Our confit garlic is done. We're now gonna make the most amazing umami forward compound butter. With butters, I think you're only ever as good as your ingredients, and things like butter are really important. Don't use anything blended like a spreadable butter or a margarine or anything. You want proper, good quality, fancy butter. So buy the best butter you can. So drop that whole thing in. Confit garlic, been cooking away for about half an hour, so I'm just gonna scoop out all the lovely cloves. We're also gonna go in with some lovely anchovies. And kind of the higher quality the anchovy, kind of the less fishy they are. So we're probably gonna go for about 8 to 10 fillets, which is probably about half a jar. Also gonna go in with some miso. This is just a nice white miso. We're gonna go with a teaspoon of that. The miso and the anchovies are super salty. Garlic's there for just pure savory flavor. So now we're gonna blend these together. So far, this is just whipped miso, anchovy, garlic butter. One of the best things you can do with a kind of roasted or fried potato is add rosemary. We're going to just strip the leaves from these. All of this gorgeous rosemary going in. So now the last kind of pieces of the puzzle are some pepper. And then this is such an amazing kind of savory secret ingredient, all right? This is in so much delicious food at restaurants. Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce. You can get this all over the world. It's absolutely stunning. It's kind of sweet, sour, savory, kind of quite a complete condiment. We love it here, and it's perfect in this. I'm gonna get this running, and as it's running, I'm gonna add some comfy garlic oil and a whole bunch of this. Gorgeous. Let's have a little taste. Oh, so delicious. Anchovy, miso, lots of rosemary, lots of garlic. Ready for our Jersey rolls. So our potatoes have cooled and dried off. I just want to give them a little squish, basically. There's almost no kind of flat surfaces on this potato. So when you squash it, not only do you make all of these amazing little kind of craggly, gnarly bits that are gonna go really crispy, you create a flat surface to maintain kind of maximum contact with the pan. Right, this is kind of like a two-part cook. We want to start these potatoes off in oil. You can either use olive oil, you can use some of your lovely comfy garlic oil, and we want to get them nice and crispy with that. And then afterwards, we're going to finish them with this butter. If you put this butter in from the start, it'll just burn. And by the time you've got crispy potatoes, you'll have very, very burnt butter. So I'm going to add a good dose of this. Right, let this come up, and then we're going to just add the potatoes. Squashed, nice and dry. Now the aim of the game here is to squeeze in as many as you can, and then once they're in, don't touch them. Whoop. Looking nice. Okay, I think we're getting there. Let's have a look around the pan. Yeah, these look great. Nice, nice, really nice. Great, so there's quite a lot of oil sitting in the pan, so what I'm gonna do is just pour off a little bit of this garlic oil. So now oil's come off, I'm gonna take a big spoon of this butter, generous spoon, and we're gonna get this in. And we're gonna kind of baste and envelop these potatoes in this amazing savory butter. I've also got some extra rosemary. I'm just gonna scatter in. Now the aim of the game here is just to kind of melt that butter and coat the potatoes with it. It smells insane. So delicious. Roll them around, pick up that lovely butter, just wake up the rosemary that I've put in there. Right, they're done. Time to hit the plate. So crispy Jersey roll potatoes, anchovy, rosemary butter. Delightful way to cook spring potatoes. Which one would I like? This guy's looking pretty good. The best thing about that butter is it absolutely coats every single inch of this potato with flavor. There's anchovy all over it, little specks of rosemary. You can smell Worcester sauce, you can smell comfy garlic. This is gonna be so hot. You can't beat roasting potatoes in butter with garlic, rosemary. And then all those extra little umami bits are just kind of like bonus balls. So nice. Right, number 3. The barbecue has been lit. So we're gonna grill and smoke our potatoes. and then dress them. I think salmorejo is so delicious with things that come off over open fire. So that's what I thought would make a lovely pairing for these grilled Jersey Royals. Salmorejo is from Italia. It's an Italian condiment that you might brush onto grilled lamb or nice baked grilled fish. It's a delicious thing, and it's a combination of oregano, garlic, maybe some orange and citrus, and parsley. So what I've done, just to kind of level it up a little bit, is make the most amazing green olive oil with parsley. So I basically took a whole bunch of Waitrose parsley, tore it in half, blended it with olive oil, and then you can either pour that into a pan and heat it up, or I've got a fancy blender that heats it up for me. You want to heat it up to 85 degrees, pass it off, let it hang in a coffee filter, hang it in a little piping bag. That bit is optional, you don't have to do that, but it is a nice touch. Our little bag of oil has been hanging up here, and ideally you'd separate this and leave it overnight, and you'd probably get a lot more water come out of it, and this would be a lot purer of a color, but we're gonna do this in a day, and we're not working in a restaurant. So basically the aim of the game now is to open this, let the water run into the espresso cup, and then let the oil run into the silver pot. And then it's oil. Now you can just squeeze this through. And there we go, that's our lovely parsley oil. So what we've now got is, we're gonna cut a bunch of parsley, we're gonna cut some really intense, amazing oregano, we're gonna grate some garlic, add some orange juice, and just bring it all together into a lovely sauce. Oregano, so this is fresh oregano. I quite like having these quite chunky in the salmorejo, because when you bite into one, it's like, bang, so delicious. Bunch it up and roll it into shape. Parsley. So the texture of this is quite important. I want it to have a kind of, almost like a very loose kind of salsa texture. Good, so next up we have some lovely oranges. I'm gonna do some zest. Oregano and orange, hell of a combo. The last piece of the puzzle is garlic. So I need one decent clove here. And I'm just gonna make a nice paste. So slice it nice and fine, and it just breaks everything down. That can go straight in. So now we're gonna bring it together with that lovely oil and some salt. So this is basically just doubling down on that nice green parsley flavor. Go a good amount of salt. 1, 2 good pinches. We'll see where we're at now, and if we need to, we can add a little extra oil. Yeah, we need some more extra virgin olive oil. That way you get more of a spoonable consistency, but it still has that amazing green hue. You can see there's little flecks of zest in there. A touch more. Then when I add the juice right before we serve, it'll slacken out a little more. So that's in a lovely spot. That's a beautiful condiment. Gorgeous. Right, to the grill. These potatoes have just got a bit of olive oil on them and lots of flaky salt. Just gonna roll them around. And this barbecue is very hot. These are gonna go straight on. They've been cooked over charcoal, and every time a bit of the oil drips off, you get a bit of flame, and you get this amazing smoky flavour. Come on, look at that. Just a little bit of chat. Okay, so potatoes are grilled, and I can smell them coming off the board. They're really smoky and delicious. This plate of food, this is like a great kind of barbecue side, because you've lit the grill. You can grill some steaks, some fish, whatever. This makes for a killer side. So what I've got here is some lovely ricotta, just unseasoned. I'm just gonna use this as like a little base for our dish. You want to serve this straight off the grill. So everything's nice and warm and alive. Grills go through like a few different cooking phases, and you need to plan for what you want to cook and when. This is probably one of the last things you could cook. And if your grill was getting really, really cold, you could just drop them straight onto the charcoal, onto the embers, and they'd cook really nicely. Bit of ricotta. Because you dress the salmorejo over the hot potatoes, you can smell all of the aromatics straight away, the garlic, the orange, the oregano, and loads of parsley. just delicious. So try and dress and serve these potatoes warm. Oh yeah. Probably my favorite of the three, that. So delicious. The San Relio, delicious. I mean, that's a great recipe in itself, but with a lovely spring Jersey roll, it's knockout. So that's it. That's all three. Easy, medium, hard. Get down to Waitrose, buy yourself a few bags of Jersey rolls this spring and get cooking. Everything you need for all of these recipes is available there right now.